over at The Wave, and today we have a really fun day planned where we are going to learn different kitchen skills. We're going to learn different things like chopping and dicing and the difference between a saucepan and a frying pan. So many great things that you should know when cooking in the kitchen. My really good friend Ellie, who loves to cook and has been spending a lot of time during quarantine watching cooking videos, is going to teach us some of the things that she has learned recently. All right, you guys, go check it out.
Hello everybody, my name is Ellie and I'm here to help you guys learn how to cook. So, who loves cooking? I do. So I'm just going to teach you a few basics. Number one, if you have nice long hair, pull it back because no one wants hair in their mac and cheese, you know what I'm saying? Number two, wash your hands. I've already done that. I won't be feeding Piper any contaminated food. Also, pandemic, so it's just great to wash your hands anyway. So we're gonna go over a few things in this video today. Number one is some utensils. So knives, you guys know what forks and knives are and whatnot, but specific types of knives, specific type of cookware, and then we're gonna make a dinner. Woo, let's hear it for dinner or supper if you're into that. So number one, you probably know this one. This is a saucepan. It comes with a lid. This is what you make your mac and cheese in, your pasta in, your linguine, your fettuccine, whatever it may be. You put it in here. This goes on the stovetop. If you need something to boil, you put it in there. Sometimes I even just make hot water in here, and then I put some tea or some coffee in it, you know? Very versatile. You know this one. Number two, the second one we're going to use is a frying pan. You may recognize this from Tangled. She uses it to hit Flynn Rider, but that's not what we're going to use it against. We are going to use it to fry an egg or saute some vegetables, or if you're really fancy, you can caramelize an onion. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Thank you. Number three is this hefty duty cast iron skillet. Now this bad boy, she can do a lot. You can put it in the oven, you can put it on the stovetop, it gets hot, it creates a very nice flavor for the food. And something important to note about a cast iron skillet is that you do not want to use soap on it. How do you clean it then, you ask? So what you do is you get it nice and hot on the stovetop after you're done using it, and then once it gets hot, all the little bits that are on it, all the crumbs, will get hard, and then you pour some salt on it and a little oil with a paper towel and you wipe it around. And that is how you clean a cast iron skillet. These, I love cooking with these. Makes everything a lot better. And then one of our last utensils today is one of my favorites, and it's a Dutch oven. That is what this looks like. This can also go on the stovetop and it can also go in the oven. I make bread in here sometimes, or risotto, or something else where you want to bake it with a lid on. You can make like chicken and rice in here if you're into that, stuff like that. So Dutch oven, always good to have on hand. So now that we went through all of those, you also know cookie sheets and whatnot, but you guys are pros at that, I'm sure, is our knives. So I got these knives. Whoa, does anyone watch tasty videos on Facebook or YouTube? I do. So this one is a bread knife. See how it's serrated like that? Serrated. This one you can use to cut your sourdough bread or your loaf of bread that's not already cut. It's pretty good for that. And speaking of bread, this one is for sandwiches because it's pretty wide. See how that one is? And you can cut through a thick sandwich pretty well. And you always want to use these to protect them. This one right here is a big boy. I don't know what it's called, but it's big and it's sharp. It's good for cutting like a big squash or a pumpkin or stuff that is pretty hard to get through. This one we are going to use today. See that one? This one is pretty versatile. I use it for potatoes mostly, but mostly I just eat potatoes, so that might be part of it. But that one is pretty good. This one is a paring knife. So this one you want to use for cutting open a pomegranate, maybe cutting an apple, stuff like that. So this one is a pretty basic knife. And then this one is just a little bit bigger than that, and it's a little sharper. I don't know exactly what you use it for. There's also some ridges on this side, so you can use this for like a potato or a lime or something like that as well. And these are not the nicest knives. Nice knives have wood on them, but you also want to sharpen your knives, and so it cuts well. And this is the sharpener that came with it, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll use this knife. So in the end here, there's little blades that you can kind of see. And then what you take it is you take it from the base of the knife and you just run it over like that. And you don't want to do it too many times because usually it sharpens it pretty well. Kind of like a hockey skate if any of you play hockey. So that's how you sharpen your knives. And also be careful with knives, don't run with them, don't point them at people, that's dangerous. So we made it past the kitchen basics, and now we're actually gonna cook some food. The fun stuff, right? Right on. So this is what I have here today. I have a sausage, delicious, a sweet potato, a lemon, garlic, and some Brussels sprouts. And with these, we are going to show you some cutting techniques. So let's start with the sausage. Shall we? That's good. So we are gonna open this like a cheese stick, as one does. A meat stick. And we put it on our clean cutting board. So I am going to use this knife for that. So we are just going to slice this one, okay? I'm also just gonna coin it because I like when they're coined. So you just run the knife over this. It helps to kind of do a little saw, but you don't want to saw too much because then it will harm the meat. So you just want to slice and dice it into these beautiful little coins. And then when I cook them on the frying pan and they get kind of crispy and they are very good. This apple, whoa, runaway coin. She came back, don't worry. So that is called a slice, where you just go right down into it and it's nothing too fancy, okay? So now I'm gonna put that in my food prep bowl. So now we have our protein here, and then we are gonna move on to our sweet potato. And if we sliced the coins, now we are going to dice the sweet potato. And I'm gonna use a little bit of a bigger knife for that, this one. So what I do first is I cut it in half, and it depends on how much you want. And I'm gonna put that half to the side, and then I'm going to cut it down like this into the cross layer sections, okay? So dice is kind of putting it in little cubes, okay? So then I'm gonna take some of these and cut it into like fingers. Don't cut your finger, cut the potato into fingers. And sometimes it can be kind of hard, so if you can only do one at a time, that's okay too. And then once you have these fingers, you cut them into cubes. So this one just takes a little bit more cutting than the coins because we're slicing them into small cubes like this. See, like that. How nice. And then these babies will either get cooked or you can put them on the saucepan, whatever you may like. And there's also a good way to demonstrate cutting skills is on an onion, but we do not have an onion here today. But you can kind of picture how an onion either is sliced into just the semicircles or how they're cubed in and diced into the little squares. So I'm gonna put those in my other food prep bowl right here. And it really depends on your preferences for how you want to cut up your vegetables and your meat and whatnot. So this sweet potato is gonna go to the side for right now. And then we have our Brussels sprouts. We are just going to have these, okay? Some people like this little thing on the bottom. I don't mind it, but I know the person I'm preparing for does not like them. So I'm gonna just cut them off like that and just cut it right down the middle. And that's a half. And then what I like to do is put these side down on the oven or on the skillet, and then they get nice and roasty toasty. And I even like when the leaves get a little roasty toasty as well. It's like a little chip that you bake in the oven. So I'm just gonna have these Brussels sprouts very quickly. I love Brussels sprouts. What a delicious fall and winter vegetable. Okay, so now that we've done that, and you always want to have a clean workstation, compost if you want to, what we are going to do is we are going to wedge the lemon. Lemon's delicious, you need acid. Speaking of acid, this is one of my favorite books. It's called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. There's also a show on Netflix by the same people, and they teach you the basics of cooking. And she says to each meal you need salt, fat, acid, and heat for it to be a complete and delicious meal. So check it out if you're interested in that. So for the lemon, we are going to wedge it so we can like drizzle it in some honey and tea and whatnot. So first what we're just gonna do is cut it right down the middle. Oh, look at that beautiful citrus. And then I like to hold it at an angle a little bit and just cut like this. And then there, you have a lemon wedge. And if you're feeling brave, you can put it in your mouth like this. Yum, I love acid. So that's what we do with the lemon. Now I'm gonna put that to the side, and you can save the rest of the lemon in the fridge in a Tupperware or something like that. And garlic. This is my favorite. Love garlic, put it in everything. And I'm gonna show you a very good trick to do with garlic. So if we put it right here, this is called 1 clove of garlic, where this is a head of garlic, where all the little cloves come into. So there's a little bit of like a wrapper you see on this garlic, like that. So a trick to getting it off instead of peeling it is taking your knife and smashing it, just like that. And then the wrapper comes off pretty easily, just like that. This one has a little bit more on it, so I'll just grab that. And it's not too hard. I love garlic. You can put it in everything. So you can either slice garlic, kind of like this, and then you get these really beautiful slivers of garlic that you can use. But if you want to mince it, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna mince it to add to the vegetables and whatnot. And so you slice it into these thin kind of sheets of garlic, just like this. And then I like to put them back together. And there's no super neat way for mincing because you just want it to be in tiny little parts. And then when you're cutting, you want to curl your fingers behind so you don't cut your fingers off, and just cut it into these tiny little cubes. We're making them really small. So mincing is the smallest of the cuts. That's what will make your food the smallest. And then if you don't think it's small enough, you can gather it into a little ball and chop it some more, and kind of doing that rolling rotation with the knife if you're not getting it. And there you go. Then you have minced garlic. And that is what we're gonna cook today. So we are gonna put the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potatoes in the oven with the cooking sheet, and then we're gonna put the sausage coins right here with some garlic on a frying pan on the stove and let those get nice and cooked. And then we're gonna make some hot lemon water for our throats because we've been talking so much, on Zoom and whatnot. So thank you so much for cooking with me. I can't wait to see what you guys cook, and thanks for tuning in.
Wow, I don't know about you, but I learned so much today. I can't wait to go test some of these things out in my own kitchen, learn a little bit of chopping and dicing skills myself. So I hope you guys learned a lot, and I can't wait to hear all the things you're gonna cook in your own kitchen. All right, you guys, have a great